Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. I thought it was going to rain today. You know, the weather here in the mountains, I guess it's hard to predict. We check it at least once a day to see what it's going to be tomorrow to kind of, finalize our plans for the day. And it's wrong a lot. In this case, I'm glad it was wrong. Because as you know, we got a whole crew of people coming in this afternoon. Need a cup holder. And so we have some stuff to do, and really, setting up tents and stuff in the rain is just no fun. And I don't want that for them. And so, blue skies, here, check it out. Can you see? Pretty neat, huh? Like y'all, I was waiting with much interest on what Trump was going to do vis-a-vis the Paris climate deal. And honestly, I thought he was going to cave. I was totally prepared for him to cave. The pressure on him not to pull out was immense. And of course, I watched the whole thing. I had the opportunity to do his speech in the Rose Garden. And I've been there, by the way. And I was stoked. It's like, yes, very good. Because number one, I'm not really that convinced that humans have that much effect on the climate. Number two, that of the humans that do affect the climate, the Americans are in any way even closely responsible for it. And I say that because I have been to a lot of third world hellholes and third world powerful countries like China. And the pollution there is outrageous compared to here. And I knew it to be what it was. It was really a control over people and money and, trying to get an international body to start setting the agenda and the rules and the laws of individual countries. And obviously, I'm against that. But, man, everybody, let me fix my hand here. Everybody was telling Trump to stay and not pull out, and yet he did it. Awesome. And again, it ain't going to affect the climate one way or another. It's not about that. It's about money and control of you, people. Which got me thinking. I guess one more thing, and then I'll come back and wax a little eloquent on that. I saw just very briefly, I dislike intensely Megyn Kelly. And I just find her unprofessional, and she's trying to look like she's 23, and she's, 46? And so, I'm interested in Putin, right? Rooting for Putin. I think he's a good leader for the Russian people. And so she had some kind of interview with Putin, and no, I'm not going to watch it for a couple reasons. One, I don't have a TV. Two, I'm not watching Megyn Kelly or spending any money on her advertisers ever. But I saw an article in the news today somewhere where it talked about what she was wearing. I have young daughters, right? And I know what young women wear. Megyn Kelly is far from young. So I don't think I'm totally out of touch with society, I think Megyn Kelly looked like a hooker. She had these high heels on, had her toenails painted black, had this off-the-shoulder dress on that was slit. First of all, it was pretty short. It wasn't that short, for, again, modern women. It probably came down just below the knee. So that's fine. But it was split halfway up to where, and then of course she sat there and flashed a lot of leg. To interview a world leader, probably the second most powerful world leader. What a slut, whatever. It's just something. I'm thinking of another story, but I don't think I'm going to tell that one right now because I might offend too many people. I'll just encapsulates that whole story in this. The thing some people wear to church is amazing. Just amazing. All right, so I got to thinking, I live out here, right? This is my garden. I'm sitting in the midst of it right now. And when I wake up in the morning, I look out a huge window into the woods, and I hear birds chirping. And until a couple of days ago, when I started making my dog sleep outside, we'd hear stuff thrashing around in the woods, and deer and stuff. Saw a deer in the backyard the other day. I don't have a radio. I don't have a television. I've also instituted some discipline, and I'm only checking my phone like 2 or 3 times a day now, max. So I'm not hooked in to the constant media, boom, boom, boom. And this climate change thing really pit Trump, who is not the Messiah, okay, but I like him. It pitted Trump against the globalists, those people who want to take over our sovereignty. Here, I just got to show you that too. Can you see that X in the sky up there? Who want to take over our sovereignty, who want to tell us what to do as Americans, and everybody else what to do. And part of the huge problem with our nation, our country, is that all our elected leaders are globalists, right? That's why the Republicans and the Democrats and the Republicans work so hard to keep Trump out of office, because they could see the writing on the wall. They'd taken his measure, and they didn't like it because he's going to squash their little globalist party. Look, we're Americans. And if you're, and I know we have foreign to us viewers, Australians and Brits and Irish and Scandinavia, one of the countries up there, somebody. If you're from one of those countries, you should comment from here. I think everyone should be a nationalist. If you're an Australian, you should be for Oz. If you're a Norwegian, you should be for Norway. You should want what's best for your people. I'm an American. I want what's best for America and Americans. And I don't begrudge that for anybody else. But these people who want just what's best globally, it ain't best globally. It's not best for the global citizenry. It's best for the elites, the global elites. You talk about elite when you get at that level. And so Trump stands against that. And he stands, right? He stood yesterday, and I really thought he wasn't going to. And I'm so happy that he did. But I live out here, which was the point. I'm like the anti-globalist. And I mean that not the counter-globalist. See, there's a difference between anti and counter. Yes, dear. I think she thinks the dogs are messing with the chickens, but they're not. I'm just so far the other way from globalist. I mean, I'm just trying to live out here and do my own thing, and I try to position myself so that global events, national events, regional events don't affect me that much. And that is the whole principle, the whole purpose behind, give me a break, first cup of coffee. Trying to be self-sufficient, trying not to depend on other people, trying to be able to go my own way, our own way out here. There used to be a thing, think globally, act locally. I think that's what it was. I don't care globally. I do. My background, today I was just looking at local newspapers all over Southeast Asia. So I guess I do care globally, but I'm personally not concerned globally. I'm concerned with, like, my garden needs to be weeded. Like, we need to get out here. My wife and I were talking about that. We need to get out here and do some serious weeding. And my watermelons died. They came up, or they got eaten by a critter They came up and they're gone now, so I've got to replant my watermelons, things like that. These are the things I'm concerned with, not what Goldman Sachs is fixing to do, or, did you hear the housing starts are up or down or whatever? I care not. I don't care. I've been thinking about going fishing. I want to just carve out some time to take my kayak. I have a fishing license, and just go fish. I told my wife I'll get up early, like earlier than this, beyond the lake when the sun is coming up, and try and catch lunch, dinner kind of thing. These are the kinds of things I'm thinking about, not the globalists. And so I think I really am kind of like an anti-globalist, right? I'm the kind of person that they just can't affect. And quite frankly, I don't think they care about me either. So where are you? There's talk about, I was on another forum and people were talking about some big Russian exercise coming up this fall. I can't, Zamzat or something. I don't speak Russian. I think that's what it was called. But anyway, it's a big Russian military exercise that takes place on the border of the Balkan nations. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. And I guess they're a little bit concerned because that whole army that's, forming and pretending to attack targets right on their border could just as conceivably be used for cover fraction. And just keep going and go into the Baltics, right? Not to be confused with the Balkans, which are down by Italy. So I got to thinking about that, and I'm like, you know what? If I was a little state, and if there's any Estonians, Lithuanians, or whatever watching this, sound off, chime in. But if I was a little country with a very small, relatively, military, on the border of a huge country, Russia, with a huge military, a country that used to own, allow me that, my country, my country was firmly within their sphere, I might try and make nice with them. Because if you can't fight somebody, it's probably better to figure out what you're going to do other than fight, right? If you're not strong enough to win a fight, it's probably better to think of a way to get along. I don't think, and I'm not trying to be offensive, I'm just trying to be an American. I don't think there's anything up there that's worth the blood of one American. I don't really have a problem with Russia exerting a sphere of influence over that area. That's me. Guess what? We've got all kinds of troops and missiles and everything else that we're just piling in there right on Russia's border in their former territory. How would we feel if Russia started, positioning troops and missiles and anti-missile systems and stuff in Mexico? I don't think we'd like that. Or what if the U.S. broke up and California seceded from the nation and all of a sudden there's Russian or Chinese military in large numbers in there? How would we feel about that? We wouldn't like it. And we'd have a reason not to like it. So, that's something now that's just kind of come up on my radar that I'm starting to watch is over there. I mean, there's so much going on, right? But the Baltics, I need to do some more reading on them. I've never been there. I've been to Poland, been to Denmark, been, Germany, France, Belgium, Brussels, blah, blah. But I haven't been up there in that part. So I don't know a whole lot about it. So I admit my ignorance. And if some of y'all know more than me, please chime in. But I'm not about this domino theory. I don't care, man. I'm also not a total isolationist. If there was something in the Baltics that was vitally important to America's well-being, then I'd be really interested in not letting the Russians or the Chinese or the Iranians control it. But I don't think there is. So, there's that. And as long as I'm on it, I have forever not understood why we, the U.S., don't make nice with India. We should be best buds with India. We should be giving them welcomes like the Saudis gave Trump. They're a huge country. They're about to have a huge middle class, which is going to change the dynamic of the world for us too. And they're in a very strategic part of the world. And they don't really like the Pakistanis, who have nukes also. We should be friends with the Indians. All right, globalists. I started out saying I don't care, and then I just went around the world a little bit. I guess I'm not weaned off totally. But what I really am concerned about is things like my garden. These are the things that bring me joy. That and worshiping and that kind of thing, which I try to keep that tone down on this channel a little bit. All right, well, that's what I wanted to tell you. The globalist and Trump went head to head. They lost. Oh yeah, the who's meeting in Chantilly? Come on, the Bilderbergers are meeting in Chantilly. Talk about globalist. They're not going to be happy about what just happened. And I fear for the well-being of our president. There are enough powerful people that don't like him that are starting to see him have an effect on their agenda. And they're very powerful people. Man, I hope our Secret Service is on it. Just on it. That's a tough job. That's a tough job. So, you know, things could go topsy-turvy very quickly, right? I'm not a Pence fan. You know, the number 2. I think he's part of the whole system. So, stay alert. Don't stop prepping. Keep on it. Get your gardens going. Have the thoughts. You know, I wrote a little thing the other day. I guess I can kind of talk about that and then I'll sign off. I know you guys have things to do. We're getting ready to have 80 people here. That's a lot for us to support. And Palmetto Paratrooper suggested that I do an after-action review on what worked, what didn't. Dun, 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 dun. I think that's an excellent idea. So you can wait on that. That'll come. Probably be midweek before I get all the lessons digested in my head. But here's the thing. Are you prepared to receive a lot of people? If not, why not? I'm assuming, you know, you're planning on staying where you are because you and your spouse cannot pull security on your place 24/7, 365. Somebody's got to sleep. Somebody could get sick or something like that. You need people, and if you're going to have people, you know, they need places to sleep, to eat, to poop. There needs to be a schedule, things like that. And I have a lot of ideas on this. I may even write a book on it or a booklet. But you should start thinking about that. Are you planning on receiving people? And again, if you're not, why not? Unless, of course, you're planning to go, you know, to Bob's house or something, Aunt Millie's house. But these are why, some of the reasons, every outbuilding we build here, I build it with the intention of it could turn into a very small tiny house or cabin or something like that. Somebody could live in there to get out of the harsh weather. And yeah, then the things in that cabin would have to come out. And I think what I'd like to get to the point of, and I'm not there yet, is like stacking pallets next to each building with brand new tarps still in the bag in the building. And then if you had to empty the building, you could put the stuff on pallets to keep it up off the ground and then cover it in those tarps that are ready to go. And now you have an empty little building that, you know, a family can move into. It's amazing how many people you can put in a little space if that's all you have, that or a tent. I think I'll use the building. Right? So things like that. Think about food. Think about outhouses or composting toilets, and if you're going to use composting toilets, what are you going to use for the compost? Things like that. Dealing with large amounts of people. Chores. A chore list. You know, who's in charge? I submit the landowner is in charge. Things like that. Where are we going to sleep? You're going to put all the boys in one room and the girls in one room and then try and give the adults separate rooms? Are you going to put families in rooms? You know, one family gets one bedroom, two families get this bedroom, we'll put a curtain up in the middle, you know, things like that. But, hey, we got work to do. Things are stirring here on the mountain. I hope you all have a great weekend. Think the big thoughts. Take time to hug those you love, and I'll see you out there.